Has mukbang or muckbanging gone too far? I don't want to see a negative comment about this costume. This is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever worn, and I'm never doing it again. Mukbang, where food and fame intersect into an almost deadly combo. Let's discuss some of the most prominent mukbang influencers, whether or not they've gone too far with their content, and what caused them to get to this point. As I'm sitting here now, I'm wondering the same thing. What's caused me to get to this point?
Is that you? Who are you?
The reason for the mukbang phenomenon might not be what you initially think, or maybe it is, I don't know your thoughts. The internet seems to amplify the human condition and shine a light on the most bizarre and eccentric of characters. One strong example of this are people who gain fame through various forms of overconsumption. One of these forms are the mukbang influencers, who overindulge in everything they can, even drama.
You fat Bessies! Shut your mouth. You're supposed to be on a job. Wait.
Muckbanging, where social media stars become like your uncle on Thanksgiving, sharing a meal along with an angry rant and more personal information about them than you'd ever like to know. Some play out their dramas over a meal like a soap opera.
Everyone asks me, please, can you make nice content? That freaking hurt! I'm trying!
The top influencers experiencing a deadly competition over who will go farther down the dark path of mukbanging so they can climb the food chain of social media success. In a toxic mukbanging dynamic, the influencer and their audience are feeding into each other, maybe literally. The influencer ropes in their audience through their drama and the extremity of their mukbanging, and the viewers eat it up, engaging with the most toxic of their content, encouraging the mukbang influencers simply through views to make more and more of that content.
It's brilliant. And it's dangerous.
Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins. But are the people watching these influencers' demise gorging on toxic internet content just as much as the influencers engorge themselves? Suddenly, the concept of more is more isn't just about the amount of food mukbangers consume. It becomes an entire social media strategy, a career mindset, and one that the general audience starts to expect from their favorite mukbang influencers. Why is this exactly? Is it because of the internet's love for lolcows? The existence of lolcows dates far back on social media and is a person or group of people laughed at for actions that they take, despite not trying to be funny. They may try to take themselves seriously, but are often milked for laughs with or without their knowledge. Of course, these extreme examples of mukbang was not mukbang's original intent. The phenomenon originated in South Korea, and the word mukbang is a portmanteau, a combination of 2 Korean words. Muksha, let's eat, and bang song, meaning broadcast. It seems like, from my very white and American perspective, the original intent of mukbang was to be a cure to loneliness. People would live stream themselves eating their meals and you could join in, feeling like you were sitting down and sharing a meal with them just like friends and family often do. Food isn't only essential for so many people's lives, but meals shared often have a cultural significance and can bond people together.
Tired of eating alone? In South Korea, you can find a dining companion online who are streaming their nightly glutton fests, known locally as mukbang.
There's also often an ASMR aspect to mukbanging, which some people love and it comforts them, and others can be kind of disturbed by.
Oh my god.
But within the past few years, mukbang has completely morphed from something that's supposed to be comforting into something quite disturbing for many viewers. Because many viewers have watched as various mukbang influencers have slowly destroyed their lives.
And then I went to 350s and then I lost 20 more pounds. And then I gained it again, and it's really embarrassing. I thought I could lose weight. I really can't.
They do this all seemingly for a chance at internet fame and virality. Would you do all of that too if it meant a chance to make millions? It all sounds so easy, turning calories into cash and cringe into content. let's discuss some of the most idiosyncratic influencers within the mukbang genre, and after you can decide whether or not mukbang has gone too far. It feels like this cap is restricting blood flow to my brain and I can't think properly. Nikocado Avocado. For the past few years, many people have been concerned with Nikocado Avocado, real name Nicholas Perry. It seemed like his life slowly unraveled before his audience's eyes, with rapid weight gain, extreme high-calorie meals, and mental breakdowns.
I'm done with you. You're such a piece of garbage. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you.
An article about this situation was even titled, "Introducing Nikocado Avocado, the YouTuber slowly killing himself for views." At one point, Nikocado's New Year's resolution goal was hitting 400 pounds.
350.2 pounds.
But Nikocado Avocado did not start out this way. He was a vegan and a violinist long before internet fame took hold of him. In fact, only 5 years ago, Nikocado Avocado was a vegan vlogger living in Colombia.
Most people that watch my channel know that I'm vegan. I've been vegan for almost 4 years. Like another month or two will be like 4-year mark. Totally changed my life. I used to be obeso. I used to be like,
Then, as the mukbang genre gained more popularity, he decided to try his hand at it.
This is my first ever mukbang. Mukbang. I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but anyways, this is an eating show and I'm gonna cook for you. Wow. Here's the thing. I love food, and so do you. That's why you clicked on this. You clicked on this because you like this. And this is delicious.
But quickly, Nikocado's content began to escalate more and more. According to research on the psychology of mukbang videos, mukbang content can impact the viewer's perception of food and thinness. This is because there was a lot of mukbang content creators who consumed large amounts of food on video, but they never gained any weight, making people who watched the content think that this could be a universal experience instead of understanding that it was virtually a show they were putting on. And in general, eating that amount of food consistently is not healthy. This could have possibly been the case for Nikocado as well, convincing himself that mukbang content wouldn't cause him to gain weight. But when Nikocado weighed himself in May of 2017, he'd gained 50 pounds. But the problem was, his mukbang videos were getting views, and people became more and more interested in how much weight he was gaining. So instead of seeing his rapid weight gain as a health concern, he instead integrated it into his content.
We have an emergency. What is it? What? I don't know how to get rid of this. I have gained weight, and I don't even know why.
So by 2020, Nikocado was 300 pounds.
You guys know my weight's been spiraling out of control. So all these people saying, oh, you're 300 pounds. Excuse you. I'm actually only 200 something because you have to subtract the weight of the bones.
He made a lot of content poking fun at his own weight. So much of Nikocado's content was obviously intentional to a certain extent, making himself into a lolcow off of his weight gain.
Ouch! I cracked my ribs from coughing excessively for over 2.5 months and my obesity, and I got new merch.
Click the link below.
And though many people thought Nikocado Avocado's content was serious, most of it is not true to nature for those genuinely struggling with their weight, and instead made that aspect of Nikocado into almost like a caricature.
It's just water weight. It's just water weight. Water for my water retention. My merch! I identify as skinny.
By April of 2021, Nikocado had more than 5 million subscribers across 6 YouTube channels, and he'd earned enough money from his content to move into a $2.3 million penthouse flat.
Look at my place, you guys. I am so grateful for all of this.
The following that Nikocado Avocado built for himself began to revolve around a toxic relationship. Many people who viewed Nick's content weren't watching it for its mukbanging. Instead, many viewers felt a sense of indigestion when consuming Nikocado's content, eating up large amounts but not liking the feeling of it coming out the other end. Did I go too far? That's all to say that while many people watched Nikocado Avocado's content, they didn't like it. They were watching it to either hate at or laugh at Nikocado, but in turn making him one of the most famous and successful lolcows.
This is luxury in its finest. Thanks to you and all my haters. My haters bought me a house.
And Nick clearly fed into that. Everything he did was over the top, from his on-screen breakdowns to his online dramas and even his declining health. This is so uncomfy. Ow. Why exactly do people love to hate or watch someone for the purpose of disliking their lifestyle? While I'm sure there were a lot of people who watched Nikocado's content off of genuine concern, the concept of hate watching has existed for a very, very long time, before even the internet, and it can be boiled down to the term schadenfreude, which means deriving pleasure from someone else's pain. And it's a good thing to look out for because schadenfreude is rooted in a sense of superiority over the subject of our ridicule. With Nikocado, the more chaotic and self-destructive his behavior appeared, the more it would have made his viewers feel better about their more stable lives by comparison. They watch Nikocado Avocado and think, well, maybe my life isn't so bad. Another question is, if Nikocado was so collectively hated, why did he continue making content, other than the obvious reason that it was making him money? But you have to think, there's gotta be other ways to make that amount of money without completely destroying your health and becoming widely hated. Usually when we think of social media addiction, emphasis is placed on the viewer, but it impacts creators too. You can get addicted to virtually almost anything, especially if you're getting rewarded for your behavior. Nikocado Avocado even has a merchandise empire with t-shirts that read, "You made me do it."
It's your fault. It's your fault that I'm getting the diabetes.
Behavioral science experts believe that all entities capable of stimulating a person can be addictive, and whenever a habit changes into an obligation, it can be considered as an addiction.
I'm just an addict. Like, I had to come to terms that I'm addicted to food. And at this point in time, eating is my only reason to live. Nikocado, when are you gonna lose weight? Never.
Was Nikocado Avocado addicted to YouTube to the point where he destroyed himself over it? Were we addicted to watching? Well, this sort of morbid fascination, at least on the viewer's part, can only go so far. Eventually, people just kind of accepted that Nick was just the way he was, a sort of villainous creator who everyone loved to hate. He became an infamous internet character, but people's reactivity to his content wasn't as high. His antics became more predictable for people who've watched his content for some time. But just as things became predictable when it came to Nikocado Avocado, everything changed.
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
Over the past 2 years, Nikocado secretly shed 250 pounds. He came out with a video shocking the internet showing his new self, which nobody predicted.
Today I woke up from a very long dream. And I also woke up having lost 250 pounds off of my body.
The video gained over 26 million views in 48 hours. And how did he do this? He just recycled content of his old self so no one would suspect a thing. One would wonder, why would Nikocado go on a weight loss journey in this fashion, instead of showing the process as an opportunity to educate and inspire people? Instead, he continued to pretend that he was at the same weight just to, boom, come out with a video shocking everyone. Of course, in true Nikocado fashion, coming out with a video like this made it instantly go viral. The surprise, the shock, the drama of it all, with a lot of things that he says in the video becoming instantly memeable. Speaking on who was addicted, who was the gluttonous consumer between Nikocado and his audience, Nick claimed it was his audience who was addicted to watching him, and that he was in fact in total control the entire time of the extent of his consumption.
This has been the greatest social experiment for my entire life.
He claimed that the true overconsumption was people who obsessively watch other content creators.
All these little consumers, all of these lost and bored people. People consuming anything that they're told to consume. And you will continue to consume these stories about me year after year after year.
So it seems this entire time, Nikocado was completely aware of the dynamic between him and his audience. He fed into it purposefully just to gauge a reaction from people so he could get more views and more money. So was the audience the one left with unhealthy habits? Instead of digesting Nicholas Perry's real intentions with tricking the YouTube community, online hate has only moved to new prominent figures, building internet fame one bite at a time. People took their critiques to a new account gaining traction on TikTok, named Jellybean Sweets. Because not only was Jellybean Sweets gaining a lot of traction, but they're in real time gaining a lot of weight. So people quickly dubbed Jellybean Sweets the new Nikocado Avocado, and they created similar before and after videos of her. Jellybean Sweets. Honestly, I'm super worried about her. It's giving Nikocado Avocado type vibes at this point. So who is Jellybean Sweets? Is she really the new Nikocado Avocado? And is there anything we can do to stop a similar toxic cycle from occurring? Ow. This hurts too much. It's like restricting my brain. Oh my gosh, it's sweaty. Never again. Jellybean Sweets. Jellybean Sweets is a now infamous mukbanger on TikTok, but in a similar thread to Nikocado Avocado, she didn't start out her journey making mukbang content. Jellybean Sweets is 20 years old and her real name is Jenna. She's a former dancer and college student. In fact, she started off posting TikTok dance videos, but virtually overnight, Jellybean Sweets transitioned into making mukbang eating videos. These videos attracted a lot of engagement and attention.
Jellybean Sweets has been going viral lately for her weight gain over 1 year of doing mukbang videos. She used to do dance videos, but now she has moved her way onto eating, where she has found much more success.
Jellybean Sweets gained over 1.5 million followers on TikTok and over 100,000 on Instagram. Her main posts consist of her eating large quantities of food. And in turn, people became interested with the amount of weight that Jellybean Sweets was gaining. So the attention that Jellybean Sweets was attracting wasn't necessarily for positive reasons, and it wasn't necessarily positive attention.
She gets thousands to millions of views every single day on her mukbang eating videos. She gets fast food every single day, and when she eats it, it's basically falling out of her mouth. She has sauce all over her mouth, dripping.
Jellybean Sweets is currently going viral all over social medias, including TikTok, because of the way that she used to look before and compared to how she looks now.
And it's just really sad to see the evolution of it. She started out a very young, vibrant girl that would just do some Subway videos and mainly Subway and dance, and now she, because people make a lot of money doing these eating videos. It's just so sad because it takes such a toll on your health.
Something I think that's interesting is that the mukbang videos of Jellybean Sweets that gain the most attention and viewership are the ones where she eats the messiest. Ones where she has a bunch of dipping sauces, smeared stains, and dramatic chewing. It reminds me yet again of Schadenfreude. The most popular videos of Jellybean Sweets is when she's seen at her worst, gaining weight, eating messily. It's almost as if people aren't just interested in watching Jellybean Sweets spiral down into worse and worse health, but they're most interested in when she does it in a messy, carefree way that's seen as almost unhinged. You can see this in the Jellybean Snark Reddit pages, where people often post screenshots of her in the middle of eating, and often when it looks the messiest. Something important to note though is Jellybean Sweets has also been accused of creating feeder content. Apparently, feeder content comes from the obsession one has with feeding people food and watching others eat. And those who indulge in feeder content often want to see people gain weight, and they want to take part in that person's weight gaining journey.
And all I can say is, right, just look at everything. Look at the sauce she's pouring, look at the way it's on her fingers, listen to the noises she's making, look at the faces she's pulling, and do not tell me that she is not making feeder content. Once you see it, you'll never go back now.
An account on Reddit allegedly shows screenshots of them DMing Jellybean Sweets asking for custom content, aka pretty much feeder content, and she agrees to the type of content and price. The person asks Jellybean Sweets, "Do you do customs?" And she responds, "What do you mean by custom?" They say custom mukbangs. Jellybean replies, "How much would you pay and what would you want me to eat?" The person responds, "Willing to pay 150 euros for messy burrito long video or purchase item in wish list." Then sends a video example and says, "If you can make it like this and with more liquid." Jellybean responds, "LOL, I actually just ordered Taco Bell and it's coming in like 10 minutes. I'd be willing. Can I still post it on TikTok like I do with my other mukbangs?" They respond, "Yes, and not talking, only eating. Did you order sauce?" Jellybean responds, "Yes, I ordered quite a few sauces. It'll be messy. And for the payment, could you just order me some stuff off of my wish list? That's easiest for me." Since Jellybean Sweets also asked for permission to post it on TikTok, it seems that she is aware that she's feeding into feeder content. The fact that millions of people watch her content and, well, a lot of children are on TikTok makes that aspect a little bit concerning. Feeding possibly young and naive people into a toxic ideology that they probably don't quite fully understand.
I'm like an Italian grandma. I'm like a feeder. You have to eat this.
But still, Jellybean Sweets makes videos that continue to gain millions of views. So there's a little bit of mixed messaging here. People are saying they don't support what she's doing and are concerned for her, yet the numbers speak a different language and are probably just encouraging her to keep going. Jellybean Sweets is clearly listening more to her numbers than her comments, leaning into what's gaining her the most views. But people still wonder why. Compared to Nikocado Avocado, who's made millions off of YouTube AdSense and his merchandise, Jellybean Sweets seemingly isn't even making that much money off of her content. Someone estimated that Jellybean Sweets makes less than $150 off of each video, probably only providing a little bit more revenue than the food itself costs. Though it seems she was sponsored by the restaurant Chili's, so there's at least some sponsorship opportunities coming her way. Many people dislike Jellybean Sweets, irregardless of her personal issues that may have gotten her to this point. The Jellybean Sweets snark page is an example of this. "I hate this smug look she gives in every single video. Just unbelievably annoying. The way she looks pisses me off. She has so much potential. She just popped up on my For You page and I can't stop thinking about the fact that she's genuinely blessed with good facial features and she's really a beautiful girl. It's so sad to see her ruining herself when she could literally have the biggest revenge glow up. If she just stops doing her feeder content, starts eating healthier, doing some exercise, and overall taking care of herself, and getting a whole new wardrobe with the money she's making instead of using it to buy junk food. She has the potential to be an it girl and she's just wasting it." It's weird that you're so obsessed with a girl losing weight so that she can be an it girl. You know that, right? What? So any girl who has the potential to be pretty must maximize her potential, all so she can become just another beauty or lifestyle influencer? You realize that's kind of fucked up, right? Bro, I'm cracking up. Y'all are messy. Talking about Jellybean Sweets' appearance has become commonplace. People caring a lot about how unhealthy what she's doing is. But if she doesn't care, why does anyone else? Does that sort of content truly help, or does it just add more toxicity to an already toxic situation? Shame can be a really dangerous thing that has more negative effects on our mental health than any positive ones. And the effects of shame can be really hard to notice. You can spiral further and further down, have self-destructive tendencies, and in general, all of these critiques on Jellybean's appearance just becomes people inserting their opinions on how they think she should look, what she should eat, and overly pointing out her change in appearance, glorifying her old appearance and demonizing her new one. Is that sort of content just feeding into a gluttonous cycle as people consume more and more of a person's demise? As a woman on the internet, people point out my changes in appearance a lot, especially when it comes to weight. And if you're dealing with other health problems, it can just cause a lot of insecurity and self-doubt on top of the health problems you're already experiencing. Ultimately, we don't know the mental state of Jellybean Sweets, what she's going through, what's prompting this, but our engagement with it all is clearly not really helping. So, in this toxic internet dynamic, has mukbang gone too far? Or has it simply reached its natural cycle?
Extreme mukbangs have been a thing for forever. This is how social media works. You do something controversial, you say something controversial, you say something clickbait, and like you go viral.
Influencers just amplifying what we already choose to engage in, our schadenfreude nature, our interest in morbid things. Or does that put too much onus on the viewers when these influencers simply have free will and are choosing to participate in a lifestyle and making their own life choices? Honestly, I don't know.